How adorable are these charcuterie cartons that are going around Instagram? So in this video, I wanted to make sure I did my version of this Easter egg charcuterie carton for kids. If you love this kind of content, then please consider subscribing. My name is Jordan and this is Amazing Grace Boards, and on here we just put together amazing, adorable, and delicious food together on a board to serve to your friends and family. So let's just jump right into what I need and what you're gonna need to build this cute carton. Here is the egg carton I'm going to use for this video. I did find it in the Easter egg section that had confetti eggs inside. So I figured it was a better option versus a regular carton that had possible bacteria in it. So just to avoid any of that cross-contamination, I chose this option, but I also thought a styrofoam egg carton would be perfect because you can easily wipe it out and still keep its shape and color and form. So that's just a disclaimer that I had when choosing that. I also did on the left-hand side kind of gauge where I wanted to put everything based on shape, size, color, and just kind of overall fitting the theme. So I'm referencing that. I know you probably can't see the details, but I figured, you know, if you're doing this, especially like a board, I do like to kind of plan out visually before I start to build, and of course just go with the creative flow and also the challenges that will come when you're building something. So those bries that I'm using, these adorable little cookie, they're not cookie cutters because they're way too small, but like fruit shaped cutters, ended up not working in that brie. So even though they're there, I won't be using them. So here's a picture of the cheese. The alternative that I used was a Babybel, and it just worked way better for this scenario. So that's just also another warning before we get fully into it. So I am using the Baby Chick little, I guess I'll call it a stamp, food stamp, because it's that tiny. And it's these adorable little baby chicks. So those are the aged cheddar that I chose. I chose the cheddar and the brie at the time, which a Babybel is also very kid friendly, but usually my kids like mild soft cheese and a regular cheddar. So that's what I ended up doing. And so here I am starting to place the brie pieces where I think will go very well. Which also is just it's written out for me. It's my plan. I'm following my own plan. And I do start to grab and start to wrap up the edible grass that I found. So it was like this really fun flavor, green apple flavor of edible grass. It was really yummy. And so of course I wouldn't recommend to eat it with cheddar, but let's face it, our kids will be obsessed with it. So I ended up moving the crackers because the color hues are very similar. They're just very light, so I wanted them on the opposite end of my carton. And I am now using a fruit cutter. I guess it's like the flower, quote unquote, flower fruit cutter. And I know you can use this with a regular knife. I'm not that creative, so I figured I would just buy this for a couple of bucks on Amazon and just get the perfect flower kiwi I can create. So it worked out great. Fit the carton like a glove. So I'm very happy about that. It's like one of my favorite things to stare at in my photo, just because I didn't do it. This easy peasy little tool did it. So now I'm creating my salami rose, which is just so simple. You grab like maybe 3 or 4 pieces, you fold them in half, and then you roll them up really tight. And so I didn't roll it up tight enough, so I'm pulling it back out and redoing it over. And then after that, you just fold. So once you get your major center piece, you just want to end up folding another and start coating them, like wrapping them around on the outside and then you can just start filling in the gaps where you see that they are, and then eventually start to pull pieces up just to loosen it out just a little bit more, which is what I'm doing here. And now it's going to look great. So that's our salami rows. So now we only have 1 meat and 2 cheese options. So of course everything else is fun and sweet and just so great for our kids to love during this little season. So now I'm just kind of eyeballing, okay, I've got my raspberry yogurt pretzels, which were delicious. It was so nice to have a like bright kind of tangy taste to a pretzel. I loved them, so they were really good. And I'm going to put another section inside my board, and this is going to fit the chocolate covered, well, the chocolate bunnies. So they're the GHIRARDELLI one, which is the big bunny. He's filled with I think caramel and sea salt. It's a dark chocolate. And then in the front I found these tiny little baby chocolate bunnies, so I figured it was a mama and her babies in this cute, adorable grass, and that's how I envision all these little things, is there babies inside a cup. So I'm so excited to use Peeps. They're one of my favorite candies all season long, and it's not because they taste great, it's just because they look so flippin' adorable. So I wanted to make sure I had a pink and a blue for each of my little ones. And so I also added the gummies, the little egg gummies that I found at Cost Plus World Market. They are peach flavor and they are delicious. So you have to go try them if you can find them still. You probably will be able to, because I just found them not too long ago. So this is one of the trial errors that I have all the time during my board building. Those strawberries that I was cutting, they looked horrible. They were white inside, most likely flavorless, so I moved on really quick because I knew I would have to change my plan. So I went back to this plan, which eventually will also change, but I figured I would try and fill it with the fig jam, clean it all up, make it look pretty, fill it out so you can actually see the cutout. And I placed it in my little carton, and I didn't like it, so I pulled it out, and of course the jam fell right out of it, so I knew it wasn't gonna work, and that's okay. So I figured, well, maybe I'll just fill it with a regular brie and the cute little cutout, which looked great, but to be honest, I wasn't satisfied. So I think I, again, just move on and just tell myself to wait. And I'm going to now use the edible grass again and these chocolate milk solid chocolate eggs, and they're just wrapped in a beautiful floral wrapper, and it was just, I had to have these because I knew that the color would come in so handy. So I chose the colors at the time that I thought would work best. I ended up changing one out for a red, but right now I'm going back to these strawberries because I have 1 cup left, and it's just a guarantee. I tried everything, even to make it a flower, and it just didn't work because I knew it wouldn't taste great. So I am going to end up moving on to cutting up a tangerine. So I just find a little cutie that my kids have, we all have on hand, I'm sure, as parents. If you're watching this, you've got cuties and you've got crackers and cheese. It's just a guarantee. So use what you've got. That's all I'm gonna say, because that's what I ended up having to do. And tangerines are beautiful when you cut them, and they peel really easily, and your kids love them because normally it's, you do the same thing with a tangerine every time. So I'm noticing that the orange is going to start to get overwhelming and close to each other, so I end up moving things around a little bit so that I have separation of color, like the orange and the white. And so I figured, okay, I'm gonna move up the pretzels, get the little peachy eggs down below, and I'm going to use a red, which is way better than the white brie. It's gonna make it stand out and pop, and you're gonna be able to see the cutout of the little bunny's face. So I had a Babybel cheese in my fridge, thank goodness, and I'm going to put it right in the center, and I also I'm going to just end up filling that tangerine cup up, and have all of this start to look and feel like it's unison, which is why I quickly had exchanged the red egg out, and I figured, hey, I can incorporate the red in one other way, which also makes my heart leap with joy. So I filled this cup. I ended up starting to clean up the carton, and when I mean clean up the carton, I can see the edible grass that I want to trim and cut. So I eventually start to trim and cut that, and then I also start to add my beautiful floral extras. I don't know what this is. It's this sweet green flower with tiny little buds, but I end up putting those on each end of the carton. And so as I finish this up, that is the carton. I thought it was so fun. My kids were so happy that I was able to make them these egg cartons, and it just brought so much light to them. So I think your kids will enjoy this, and you can of course exchange it for any meats and cheeses that your kids love, and fruits. So have fun creating it for them. I know that they will love you lots for it. So thank you so much, and have a great holiday.